Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show, and also a very happy Christmas for those of you who are celebrating this festive season, the Christmas, and for our Christian friends, it's definitely been I hope it has been a great weekend for you over the weekend, getting together some festive food with friends and also the Boxing Day. But let's get on to our market this morning. Definitely we are in a very cheery mood. You can see even SMARTRobie is wearing a Santa hat, and I do hope that many of you would have given a lot of presents, as for those of you who are in the LD, and some of you would have received a lot of present in here. And this is definitely a very festive season. And also, not to forget, we do have a Santa rally, a rally that we are seeing in US, and also the particular absence of selling that we see in the KLSE. We are seeing that the market's going higher. Let's check it out this morning in our breakfast show. Let's go on. Now, of course, in our usual Monday, we are in the beginner session, and this morning for our breakfast show, we are definitely talking about Pentagon guided kind of stock pick. Let's see what we have this morning in our market. Of course, we will go straight to the KLCI. You can see plenty of green this morning, and the market is up 6 points already. You can see, let me just change the chart here. And here you go. That's right. Now you can see from the chart wise here. Let's push it up a bit, and you can see top glove, press metal, and press metal had a good run, 7% up. Hata is up, and also this was also due to, if you look on hindsight, of course, let me just bring this up again. You can see just on top of me was the last 2 days of straight foreign fund buying, and also we have a little bit of selling. That's a very small amount, and I do think today going up into this Friday the 31st, which is the year, and we do have window dressing pushing up this last week of run, which is much easier because we have many people going on leave already, so it's always been easy to push on light volume, and that's also happening on the US market, which I will also talk about it in here. So all being said, window dressing is definitely up in here. Not all stocks are moving up. Only some of those institutional are retesting back the old high, and that's what we are usually getting in this. Do take note, we do have a new, just above me here is the intraday UOB Kay Hian top analyst pick, which is a new one to replace the RHB Jewel. So check it out in here. We got lots of Pentagon coming in here for some of those very good stock pick that they have. And also we have the intraday alert. You could see here the intraday alert, which is our new feature that goes together with the Pentagon guider, which means if the Pentagon guider comes out, you can see press metal is definitely picking up in the stock in here. It's up 1.6% following where it took off last week. That's right. So this is definitely a new feature that usually we have it on our 360. Now we are featuring this only for the UOB Kay Hian Pentagon guided stock notification. So last round was about 10-11. Check it out on your real-time charts. In here is also our Pentagon daily chart news. Kuskaspi Ajaya seems to be doing well, and our only 3 sectors you can see on top there are currently in the positive territory, which is the finance, industrial product. I do think our KLCI will turn very soon, and judging from here, you could see it should be turning either, if today they did close up the 1520, we will have the green Pentagon. My question has always been, if it does turn green Pentagon, what will be the first week of January 2022? Would that be profit taking? And we have seen some times usually after the nice run that they had in December, then January people are unsure where the market is, and usually we get a bit of profit taking in the first week of January. And yet to be seen on the US market whether we have this continuation of the buying that we've seen in the center rally, or would it likely to continue. Definitely more on that one, but at least you do have a prognosis of what's really happening in the market. Will sort of give you a chance from some of you to do asset allocation, rotating some of the stocks that doesn't perform very well. And of course you can do also ask me at the end of it, what would your stock likely to be doing going forward in the shorter terms. All right, so let's move on to next in our SMARTRobie here. right? And let's take a look at what we have for you this morning in our news roundup. And roundup is definitely the year-end dressing on, as we talked about before. All the analysts and all the economists will have been talking about this. This could be only the last week or last 2 weeks where we have significant movement for our KLCI, which we can see previously. If you look back just now here, the market has been sort of in switching to a wider chart here. You can see on the left hand side of the chart, it has been in pretty much a downtrend going back to as far back as October, 2 months of downwards, where the rest of the markets are doing well. We are seeing also geopolitical between the handling of the Selangor major flood and the Prime Minister did say something about the shortcoming that they have about handling. So all these are also playing into eventually what would be the 2022. Of course, many of you would have read last week Star Business News, which talks about a couple of highlights of stock pick and also by analysts, continue to be very optimistic of 2022 for the KLCI. For me, I'm more of a neutral to negative, to be frank with you, going forward where we are right now in here. As I said before, those of you who came and listen to me on last Wednesday talk, and I'll show a bit of a snippet too in here. You can check it out also on the YouTube or the Facebook for last week comment on what I have said about the sector analysis in here. All right, let's move on to the next news that we have is the continuing persistent of the inflationary pressure that we are also seeing in US, where US hits about above 6% on inflation, and that's going to so-called proliferate right now also with the Selangor flood that we are seeing in here. So high food costs, transport costs, and also petrol prices is going to play into it, and usually markets will tend to react not so good to inflationary in here. And again, the best clue is always look into the US side. What's ever happening in the US will also come over to our Malaysian side in here. And the local Bank Negara looking likely to raise interest rate, just like what they intend to do for the 3 interest rate hike that we see in US. This will be on 25 basis point for the third quarter of 2022, which is only one time lah. Right now it's at 1.75. At 25 basis point will be 2% hitting that, which is still very low comparing to the usual high interest rate that we used to enjoy. But right now it's only 1.75. Best is at 2%. Maybe you end up paying a bit more for your housing loans, having said that in here. But the whole point is to raise the interest rate, so the interest rate will sort of somehow control the inflation that we are seeing in here. Else we're going to be going into the negative real interest rate. Now, as I said before, last Saturday on the Starbiz, and I did check out some of the optimistic review by the analysts out from the peak. The only one that I've been talking about is KGB. All right, as you can see, let's turn our attention to KGB. KGB hasn't turned green Pentagon yet. All right, it did win a couple of big projects over the weekend. Let's switch back to KLCI here. Okay, KGB. Right, you can see KGB in here and stock chart, stock comment here. So you're looking at the sideways market of KGB still holding up at the 1 ringgit 75 level, which is quite good. It hasn't really run up much of 2021. Perhaps the 2022 still have a bit more room as it's tied to the semiconductor pickup that we've seen, which I'm going to talk about shortly in here. There are other stocks, Encon and MYEG, IAH. Except for IAH, I think IAH has done pretty well. The rest are related to more of the domestic demand and DUFU, which really into the hard disk drive. I don't think the hard disk drive will do much into that. Of course, they are forecasting for higher growth. You can always check out where DUFU is. Let's check out DUFU compared to DUFU for the hard disk drive and stock chart, stock comment. You can see DUFU is also on the yellow trend zone here. You could see since the red Pentagon, it's actually trending to the downside. So that's pretty good, playing to the upside for 2022. All right, those are the stocks picked by the analysts. Okay, moving on to the next big large cap stock which was newly listed and supported by Credo is CTOS. Now CTOS is going into a big drive and expanding empire, expanding revenue, and that's probably going to take a toll on the CTOS stocks. That's why CTOS right now is moving on the sideways market. It will be usually for some time in here. They're trying to grow their base to be in the same category as MYEG, but more on the finance and credit management in here. Would it be a good stock to pick? I would say that it is a technology stock, but you may not see the kind of growth that you see in the technology, usually the those growth in the consumer sector in here. They are definitely growing. They are definitely growing on the ASEAN region, but would it poised to grow what we see in the kind of returns that we see on the Nasdaq is yet to be seen in here. Having said that, they are going through a big balance sheet resizing by purchasing this new Juris for a cash of 205 million in here to buy Juris Tech in here, a new startup company in here. So check it out. CTOS on the chart wise is still moving sideways. Now on the global chip shortage that we have seen will continue to persist to 2022, and that's where we also notice Intel, one of the big big Dow component, are coming and setting up more plants in Malaysia, right, to enlarge their chip making capability, and they want to take on Nvidia and ARMS and also with TSM. So this is one of the big global where Intel has lagged off for many years in trying to play the catch up, even losing to its closest competitor like AMD. So they are ramping up on their chips, although they do struggle with the 5 and 3 microns, but they're doing pretty well on the 15 and 12 microns microchip in here. So yet to be seen whether Intel going into the supply chain and even buying up possibly of Golden Foundry, all right, to ramp up their chips to be a bigger dominant player, which they used to be in the 70s and 80s. So in this story, talk about EMS having adequate cover, and Chua from the CEO of Penta saying that with the rising cost of chip due to the shortage and the higher demand, especially this lockdown that we still will see persistently of COVID-19 with the new strain variant will still continue to 2022. But we all know so far Omicron, which I will talk about later when we get to the US side, hasn't seen a lot of hospitalization in here. So stocks like this, Penta, let's check out Penta, will have some sort of a base support here, and okay, stock chart, stock comment here. So you can see in here, and that's what, it hits a low, coming back still on a sideways kind of move, very similar what we saw for the other charts in here. Okay, let's move on to the next story is CPO. Now CPO is looking for an upward bias, and the market was testing the 4,005 and 4,008. I think I did trade a bit of CPO, and it's picked up a bit because also after the Omicron confirmation of less, and then the economy seemed to be picking up, and we are seeing rally, and also rally on the crude oil prices. That's what CPO is running. There's a lot of small opportunity in the CPO trading futures in here. Perhaps for our members, we are looking to do something very similar for that one. All right, and let's go on to our next story, which what Trade VSA has been very proud of, part of our educational program, like what we do in our breakfast show, to bring nuggets of financial tips and also financial financial notes, and also strategy that we always talk about in here, whether to move on to US and also move on to our local and futures market. I think that's also important. Part of the message we are saying that there's a need to raise the financial literacy other than just knowing how to save money, right? We all know, we talk about low interest rate at 1.75 and higher inflation. When you have high inflation and you have low interest rate, what kind of saving can you do to even increase your wealth? You just can't work and work, right? That's also important. With the right approach and the strategy in here, I think we at TradeVSA are able to contribute more to enrich many of our listeners and also our masterclass member to take opportunity. And we have seen so far on our returns that we have on our trading Pentagon, we still beat the KLCI, and also on our intraday, which is the VSF Total Trader, which I'll talk about in here, still doing much better. And also our masterclass portfolio has registered about 10% return, and about 10% return for the last 6 months, inclusion of the US returns in here, which have done very, very well, right? Using one of the tools that we have to expand between the Singapore, US and Malaysia market, giving you a much better response in here. And for those of you who are listening in here, how has your portfolio been doing? Just pencil in there. And I do hope that our message in here, if you follow some of our strategy that you do, or even join our masterclass, I do believe the sharing of strategy and as well as how I manage my own money in here will be made known to you, so you will do much better in year 2022. Small investment, big benefits. I think that's the message we're trying to get in here. And not to forget is moving on to the US market in here. The market that US continued to rally, to retest the old high. And looking at the S&P 500, you can see in top here, showing you the charts. Okay, and you can see it did hitting now a triple top, right? A triple top, and we want to see from volume coming in. Definitely this week you're not going to see it. Probably on the first week of 2022 when the market come back, which is already short. We are just one more week to a new year here. But fact is, I think we all know Omicron is not doing a lot of heavy damage, although this Christmas we'll see a lot of traveling, a lot of flights being cancelled due to the heavy weather that we also experiencing in the northern hemisphere in here. So as more people are gathering in close confinement because of a wintry season in here, they do expect more people are hitting new high, like we've seen hitting new high in Europe and also in US in here. The question is always been hospitalization. If hospitalization is not that bad, that would not lead to lockdown, right? And the lockdown is the key word that's talking by a lot of economists, because lockdown will slow down economy, GDP, and that will in turn hurt the retail sales and the overall revenue of company, which in turn drive down the US market in here. But having said that, the inflation continue to be a subject which we talk about, the 6% growth, 6% in here. But the US FOMC has sort of priced in the 3 US interest rate hike in year 2022 and year 2023. But right now the market is taking up very nicely, and that's why we are seeing this market continue to rally in here. If the Omicron virus will drop in the first 2 weeks of 2022, then you'll see the market continue to hit high. At one point in time, I do think that what you see on top here, the triple top at the 4,750 level, am I mistaken? Is it? Yeah, 4,750 level on top here would be a break in here. Our KLCI will still struggle, to be frank with you, the 1520 in here. And as long as the foreign fund continue to come in to buy at these low rates, the market will move. But once they leave, the market's going to fall back in. It's going to be pretty much a same year that we see in 2021 for the KLCI market in here. A lot of catalysts need to be put into the market. Just relying on the local institutional in here would be a sort of an effort I think will be wasted in here. We still need a lot of foreign funds to drive our local market in here. The US market continue to lift new high, and that's always what we talk about in the coming on the 11th and 12th. Check out our US ETF stock trading. Of course, if you are already our member in here, you get to come for this US ETF stock trading courses for free. But if you're not, that's something you want to consider, knowing how to diversify on the US market on the ETF, which will give you very good diversification and able to use for your retirement, and knowledge in your hands. Like what we said before, financial literacy will definitely help you and put you into the right way. 2022, I do believe the US market will give one of the best returns because it's a developed market. It's continued to have very good growth compared to year 2021, and that's where you want to put your money into the foreign overseas side in here. Definitely one way is the US ETF course which we're doing on the 11th and 12th. So make sure you check out this course in here. More information is available on our website in here, or you could just call the number that you've seen on the comment in the live Facebook in here. Now going for that, again, on the area of financial literacy we talk about in here, and this is one of the famous fund manager, I think Ray Dalio, many of you heard me talk about in here, and he said that one of the best way to that he have done was to give a gold coin. I don't know whether it's half an ounce or 1 ounce, and I totally agreed with him because gold is not something that you can take your gold coin and go out and spend, because we all know the current generation are more of the instant gratification. So he said that, look, if you're able to give a gold, then they will try to find out more about how to use gold as a hedge going forward into the future. It's really a good idea, and something that I also promote in this live Facebook in here. Get a gold coin, probably a 1 ounce, but it's not going to come cheap. Definitely 1 ounce will set you back almost 8,000 ringgit, right? 1 ounce of a gold coin. Perhaps you can get half an ounce, get it from the Maybank Kijang. You can get it in the PJ, or check out the website in here. And so far it has become a good hedge because it is priced in US dollar. As we all know, the ringgit, right, when it goes better against the US dollar, all the economists talk about it, but when it goes bad, nobody talks about it. So all of a sudden we are at 4.22. Now they said that it's going to go back to 4.15 and 4.19. Then they start thinking about it. So you always been, remember, the media in Malaysia has always been sort of pro-government or pro-good news. Bad news, they won't tell you so much. By the time you know it, you have the cut loss. Alright, so take note of it in here. But what we do in here, we try to be very independent and share with you some of the strategies I've used to build wealth. And definitely gold is one way. Have some exposure, but don't silang like some of the public has done on the Bitcoin, right? And against the gold. Gold is still good. Bitcoin has seen resurrection last week as it hit back to 51,000. Again, the volatility of the Bitcoin as a digital gold, it's some question to be debate, to be frank with you, compared to a gold, which has been for the last 40-50 years in here. Bitcoin yet to be seen, but a little bit of exposure on Bitcoin is good, which I do have too. Right, now going to the next subject will be the Singapore SGS market. Let's take a look at the SGS market here. So SGX Robie chart, and you can see so far in the right, Singapore also experiencing in here a big fall due to the Omicron. Right now it's picking up its bits and pieces, and I think at one point of time, perhaps this week or next week, you will see the green pentagon coming up in here. And the stock in play is the Keppel DC Reach, which is the data storage in here. So let's take a look at Keppel, which will be KEPP, and it is AJBU. Okay, now don't ask me why the Singapore stock code is really different from the usual one when people understand it. It's just a naming convention that they have. And from here onwards, you can see the Singapore has for Keppel DC Reach has been moving sideways, supported at 234 in here. Try to make it too high. And again, this is definitely pegged to the technology stock. As technology stocks go higher, this would definitely do well in here, where the data storage of the cloud computing are one of the important highlight of the DC REITs here. All right, let's move on to the next sector. It's our last week. Episode 145, Frontcan. Okay, let's take a look at Frontcan. Okay, and let's bring in Frontcan here. So Frontcan last week was the stock that we look at on the 20th. This was the 20th. Holding up, as I said before, above the 20 and 40. It will be a test whether Frontcan can break above the 4 ringgit. Right now, if you look from the market stages, there is a good chance, because you can see it is trending right at the green, below the green horizontal line. That's usually, it's a good entry in here, and it does have some sort of support at 375. This is a pretty good one, and it will take some time for it to break up for Frontcan. So take note of it in here. It hasn't run up as much, so we are picking more of the technology inclined stock. Pretty good one to have here, right? Now also, what I've said before, looking at the past sectors, last Wednesday on the 22nd of February, 22nd of December 2021, I did talk about some of the sectors and it's also US. So you can check it out on our YouTube and Facebook for some of the updates that I have, what has happened for 2021. I think many of you know some of the top 3 sectors performing were technology, industrial product, and finance, which will still continue this week onwards. Of course, the worst performer were healthcare and oil and gas. So check out that YouTube to be updated going forward. Somewhere to talk. Now also our new feature on the KLCI, it's the watch list. And this morning I set up one of the watch lists for Kosan, and you can see waiting and alerted in here. Oh, okay. Right, and you can see, yep, and we have Kosan that drops 2% at 183 in here and 2%. And again, you can see that was what I've set up in here to look at some of the stocks that actually move higher. Okay, have moved higher in here. So we have seen Kosan has started to move. Some of rubber glove stocks are coming back, and I think this is due to the window dressing, bit oversold in here, right? And this is some of the stocks been waiting, and you can see some of the stock that already been alerted has none in here. So check out this new alert and give me your feedback, all right, on our new feature that we've seen so far right now. Okay, now let's move on to the this stock for this week on a Pentagon Guider. So you can go on to KLCI Robie chart and go on Pentagon Guider here. Right, you can see, and what you want to do is select those that has the latest date, and definitely in here Hexa seems to be a good one. As I said before, let's bring up the chart of a Hexa. All right, Hexa has green pentagon and today started to pick up 2% in here. We're likely to retest back the 01 at 169. So check out the Hexa, and all you got, even JF Tech is coming back again at 144. So all the technology stock is coming back in here. Check it out. And also a good entry if Hexa take out the old weekly resistance, which is the 150 level in here. So this morning it is above the 151. So good, pretty good entry as they take out in here. Let's see how much of a rally it can do. If you're on a short-term trade, just keep it for a week or two. Let it see how well it perform in here. That's for Hexa in here. And you can check out the also, let's click on 5151 and look at the trading plan here. So Hexa trading plan, the weekly resistance is about 150, which is 1.35%. First profit taking will definitely be 152, right? Which is 2.7% in here. All right, if you don't have that, that will be the next one will be 170, which is the R2 at 14% return. Don't aim for so high if you think that the this market will not continue to rally in here. So that will be somewhere, if you get a 8 or 10%, I think be mindful of it being here. It's very hard to see this market continue to go higher, right? Right now on the basis that we have. Okay, let's go on to, that's for Hexa. And also an update. The KLCI, it's doing a minus 6.5%, and our trading portfolio for SMARTRobie was up 6.4% for the year January to December. We don't have any trade, and this was the overall position that we have compared to the red line is the KLCI, so we have beaten the KLCI, and this is just a very simple, and I do believe coming for year 2022 we'll continue to beat the KLCI by following the trading portfolio. That's something for you to be able to emulate and follow too. Follow those rules that we talk about in here very regularly, and you'll be up. And also for a special treat for our members, definitely our masterclass member, is the training that our Turtle Trader, which we have interviewed, and some of you who have followed on our Friday show in here. So what we have do, we on our gracious generosity, we extended the Turtle Trading program training free of charge to the public, as well to our masterclass member and as well as the Turtle Trade. Now remember, the focus of our Turtle Trading training is for our Turtle Trader, which will undergo the next 2 months of their competition in here. So we also open up so many of you are able to follow our Turtle Trading system in here, which actually focus on the intraday trade, right? And that they're able to do though. And we will really want to put up and help many of the public and the trader investor to really understand what it takes to be the turtle trader. So this is something you can join us on 8 p.m. this coming Wednesday on the live Zoom, which will replace our live VIP. So we always want to end the year with a very good training, a public training in here for the public as well, for our members in here. So Turtle Trader, those of you who has been selected to participate the next 2 months in here, make sure you join us on 8 p.m. And the QR code you can see on the QR scanner in here, or just go to our Telegram and register for this Zoom in here. And aligned with that, talk about 2022, a big kickstarter will be our US stock sector ETF, a step-by-step guide to profit in ETF. That will be on the 12th and 13th. And we find that this way has been proven for myself and some of our members in here to build your wealth and grow your retirement account, and also to learn how to protect the market from falling market. And remember, last Wednesday I did talk about the 5% correction that we see in the US market in here. So that would be a good area. Should the market fall beyond the 5%, that's something you want to go on the short side and learn how to pick it in here. Market do fall, but overall it does go up in a straight line, right, as we've seen in the good times. And yet also with the US Fed, FOMC being very, very dovish about the scenario should the market fall, they will probably come in and support the market in here. And you can see that's why ETF going on specific sector will definitely put you in this right spot here. So check it out. We do have a early bird fee that will close on the 31st of December. Of course, for our members, this is absolutely free for your continued support. And if you have, remember, Trade VSA and SMARTRobie, we have a lot of very great educational program, because we believe these are the strategy we use to build our own wealth and our own money, and will also suit you in here compared to the other strategies, which does give very diminishing return in here. So make sure you check it out on our USA. And right now we are up to the segment where we will reviewing some stocks. So if you have a couple of stocks that you want me to look at, just pencil those in here. And of course, do let me know where you are, whether you're masterclass members, and of course masterclass member unlimited review for the public is just one. And don't forget to go over to Google Play Store and iOS to give us a review on your SMARTRobie. We really appreciate for all the support that you have, and the least we could do is to share some of our strategy, like the VSA Turtle Trader, completing the journey with the public, and hopefully you're able to pick up bits and pieces from there and join our program. Our paid program will put you in a much better year for 2022. If you have seen how SMARTRobie will be able to pick up good stock like Hexstar, Frontcan, and they will definitely help you there. All right, so let's take a look at some of the stocks that some of the public want me to look at. I'll be happy to look at them. Any stocks that you're interested to want me to look at, I'll be happy to look at that. Okay, we have Care Plus, that's right. I think all the rubber gloves are coming back. Very fun, okay? Care Plus. Yeah, it's coming up. It's going to likely to retest this 01 here. Look to take profit around the 135, which is another 30%, right? I think this week you can notice, right, you have a very nice setup here. Markets are turning from red to gray to green, and that's a good one. Remember, right, this new market stages, I think you already we are giving out on Monday for all our members in here. The Turtle Trader got it last week as part of their preparation for their training, and this is definitely, you can see here, this was where the market, every time when the market go through this red, what we call red horizontal red line, that's usually its danger area. So right now, green area is actually a good area to enter. Of course, the best one will be at the green pentagon. So once you get up to here around 4 or 5, that's where you want to start taking profits in here. Like we've seen here, this, you can see on the top here, right? Finally, all right, here, after 4 or 5, get ready to take profit in here. If the market fall, you could get out in here. And we also see also the intensity when you try to retest back, the OHA has dropped right, to this rate level, that is also a sign of weakness, and no doubt the market just continue to fall out. But of course, you already have the red Pentagon. So knowing this as an early warning for you, you can take evasive action in here. Definitely some of our new indicator, absolutely no cost to our members who continue to subscribe to it. That's why we always give value for money for our trader. Okay, we have Sally in here, top glove, same story as I said before. One stock move, summa sama punya. You can see this one already turning green Pentagon, and eventually this gray will turn green, and that's looking good. And remember last week I talked about, when the market hits up, Omicron came out, that was a time that many of you should just take profit in here. So right now, at one point in time, you just want to, take some off and have a little bit more. Remember I shared with you, if you can't sell your rubber glove, just sell half of it when it hits a pre-designated target in here. And let's move on your money to the US stock sector in here, where you can have some sort of a better returns than what we've seen so far. Okay. Okay, any more stocks? Just pencil those in. I'm happy to look at that. Okay, if there are none, we're going to be stopping here. And of course, we will also continue on Wednesday of a breakfast show, and also do join us in our VSA Total Trader training this week at 8 p.m. and it's we opening up for the public in here. Just at the weekend we couldn't do so much because of the holiday season. We do it on the weekday as a public service to here. And also for our masterclass member, we will train you to use the indicator that we have, like the market stages as well as the intraday trader in here. And don't forget to join our let me just get down. Don't forget to join our YouTube channel that you see on top in here, and join our Telegram chat room, and do share that with your friend over this holiday season, and do tell them about our US ETF stock selector. All right, that's definitely one way to grow your wealth in 2022, which we are very, very positive that it will give you a much better returns and performance compared to 2021 just investing on the KLCI market. If you want performance, if you want to trade smarter, think of us. And that's how I want to end this video. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for joining in here, and thank you for your time. Bye bye.